I'm Dennis Taylor, and I'm a veteran here in Helena, Montana, and I'm going to speak about the things that are going on with the Montana VA. We're concerned about the destruction of services at the VA and the assault on veterans across the country. Veterans are there's more veterans in Montana than most states. We are 13% of the population. VA services are few and far between here in Helena, across the state, and we think they're under assault. The president wants to dismantle the VA, privatize veteran services, and we're here to say we're not going to let that happen. We're here to say hands off veterans, hands off healthcare, hands off Social Security, and hands off immigration.
Well, I'm Stella Duran. I'm a senior at East Helena High School here in the Valley. I'm a huge supporter of all things politics. I'm really up to date with current events, and I want to work in that field when I'm older. So it's just really important to me to watch our country not fall before I get the chance to lead. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Very concerned about the state of organized abandonment in this country, how it seems like we're abandoning everybody we seemingly can. I'm worried about queer rights and how it seems like nobody wants to stand up for them. So that's the kind of stuff I'm here to talk about.
I am here because our country is in deep trouble. Our leadership has failed the basic principles of democracy, and I believe it is time for a major change, such as impeachment or recall. I am here in solidarity with all of us from Montana who are feeling the heat of these terrible cuts and lives being ruined by the top level of government, and I protest.
Well, I'm Wilbur Raymond, and I'm here just because I'm very frustrated with President Trump at this point. I'm hoping we get a good turnout.
I'm MJ Williams, and I'm here today because I think this kind of turnout is what we need to go against the Trump-Musk mess.
And my name's Sean Diola. I'm here because I'd like to protest what I see as the stupidity of what's going on right now at the federal level. Thank you.
My name is Karen Stevenson, and I'm with a group called Project Paperclip. And the paperclip is a symbol for resistance. We got it from the Norwegian teachers during World War II. They formed after they were occupied, after Germany came in and occupied their country. And they wanted a way to stay together like a paperclip will do and support each other. And so the paperclip became a symbol of resistance. And we just feel that we're a group of people that we want to see how we can move forward with nonviolence and do all sorts of works of action, like writing letters and going to our congressmen's offices and things like that. We're just ordinary people resisting tyranny, and it's a matter of conscience.
You know everybody's crying justice, but they don't know the meaning. They don't know the meaning of the word.
Ours is not a violent insurrection. We will not engage with counter-protesters. We will not speak to those who try to incite us. Our silence speaks to our resolve. Our power is in our numbers and our commitment to each other. We will move forward to save democracy without wasting our energy on those desperate to drag us down. If approached, we will bunch up and encircle our friends like bison protecting the herd. We will record their antics, but we will not engage. Our goal today is to motivate each of you to take action in the resistance. So make sure you check out the tables from this area's great organizations and make some new friends here and join forces with your action. Also, a quick little note, garbage and recycling is down at the Waking Giant table. Just a little note for everybody. So, let's get this show on the road with a hands-off chant. What do we want Doge to do with education funding? Hands off! What do we want the president to do with tariffs? Hands off! What do we want the oligarchs to do with our government? Hands off! What do we want corporations to do with the prices? Hands off! What do we want the administration to do with our jobs? Hands off! What do we want our government doing to our rights? Hands off! 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 You guys sound like you might be a little angry. Awesome, so am I. All my life, I've heard that we should be striving for middle ground, that we should govern from the middle. And all my life, the left and the right have been in a tug-of-war with our lives. In a game of tug-of-war, teams on either side of on either end of the rope try to pull the other to their side. When one end of the rope is pulled to the right, the middle is also pulled to the right. And people on the other end of the rope are pulled into a mud pit, making it harder and harder to hold on. This seems like an apt analogy for these times. Currently, this administration has pulled the United States so far to the right, we are living in a fascist regime. And they are all... And there are already people being pulled over the edge. Trying to reach a middle ground with fascists means choosing which people are sacrificed so you can survive a little longer. But they will not stop pulling until they have brought us all down. There is no middle ground with fascists. You are either fascist or anti-fascist. These administrations in DC and here in Montana have gone after women, the LGBTQ community, Social Security, public lands, veterans benefits, Medicare and Medicaid, clean air and water, education, farmers, jobs, our courts, our allies, and the economy, with policies, actions, and proposed legislation that makes us less secure as a nation and as individuals. Within that list of targets, you or someone you love is personally impacted or will be soon. So I propose we stop playing tug of war. Let's stop chasing after a middle ground that is constantly moving right. Let's stop compromising our values and our fellow human beings. Instead, let's find common ground with each other, stand firm on the right side of history, and make the middle come back to us. One bit of common ground that one bit of common ground is that nearly 70% of Montanans believe the courts should not be partisan. This week was a decisive victory on that very topic. Senate Bill 42 that sought to make judicial races partisan died 41-59 with 16 Republicans voting for the will of the people. Senate Bill 543 was also met with bipartisan resistance. Similar results occurred in Louisiana, where constitutional initiatives trying to undermine the judiciary all failed. This administration continues to lose court cases, and our friends with the Park Service and Forest Service have been reinstated into our jobs. Wisconsin elected a judge who will uphold the constitutions of Wisconsin and the United States, in spite of a billionaire trying to buy votes. And Cory Booker held the Senate floor for over 25 hours. Shattering Strom Thurmond's record of arguing for over 24 hours to keep segregation. Senator Booker's words were inspiring, and his litany of this administration's lawlessness was jaw-dropping. But his stories about John Lewis were a testament to Representative Lewis's legacy and should motivate us all to work harder to tear down this fascist regime and fulfill the promise of America. As Cory Booker said, invoking John Lewis, this is a moral moment. It is not left or right. It's right or wrong. Let's get into good trouble. So sorry. Please welcome Jason DeShaw, who's going to sing This Land is Our Land.
I'm honored to be here today with all of you. This song was written over 80 years ago, and it still rings true today. It was written by a guy named Woody Guthrie. Woody believed in the inherent value of each and every human being, and so do I. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, sound above me, that endless skyway, sound below me, that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. The sun came shining, and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said, no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple, I saw my people. By the relief office, I saw my people as they stood there hungry. I stood there asking, is this land made for you and nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can make me turn back. Oh, this land, oh, this land, oh, this land was made for you and me.
That was beautiful, Jason. Thank you so much. Before we get to today's speakers, I want to introduce a couple of very important veterans who have made it here today. Mr. Robert Russell, a World War II veteran, is here today. He was with the Army Air Corps in World War II. Mike Hankins was 7th Infantry during the Korean War. Thank you both for coming out. The absolute chaos of this administration has thrown so many aspects of our lives into turmoil. Along with everything else that will be discussed here today, $13 million in school funding to just Helena is in jeopardy. The FAA Airport District Office lost almost half of its staff and is still being targeted in spite of, or maybe because of, its award-winning record. And our medical systems and rural healthcare are barely hanging on and are being further pushed to the brink. The waterfall of issues that must be addressed is vast. Dr. Greg Holtzman is here to talk about how he feels about it and how the healthcare has been impacted. He is a physician with vast public health experience, who has held leadership positions at the state and federal levels. He has worked for the Michigan Department of Community Health and Montana's DPHHS and the Center for Disease Control. He is here today to talk about how this administration is impacting the lives and health of Montanans. Please welcome Dr. Greg Holtzman.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Well, it's great to see you all. Like so many of you here today, I'm a little frightened. I'm shocked. I'm sometimes depressed. And I even can feel a little defeated with everything that happens every day. The Trump administration's gutting of federal agencies and slashing fundings to states is not only outrageous, but downright dangerous. I don't have the time to talk about all the people, programs, and policies this administration has indiscriminately cut since Inauguration Day. However, I'll highlight a few of our outings and cuts that have happened that will increase disease, disability, and sadly death. Starting overseas, the amputation of the USAID food delivery system has already facilitated otherwise preventable deaths by allowing children to starve. The interference with PEPFAR has already begun depriving persons with HIV of effective medications. For those American first people, infectious disease knows no boundaries. New and old diseases can quickly spread across the globe. Vaccine preventable diseases returning as misinformation and disinformation flourishes about vaccine safety and effectiveness. This is very likely to lead to entirely preventable illnesses, hospitalizations, and some death. Measles, anybody? We should all be concerned with this administration suppressing essential data, silencing experts, and firing world-renowned specialists in their field. The brain drain is going to be felt for a long time. Terminating or curtailing NIH-supported research consigns millions of people to less productive lives and shorter lives. Think about it if these Dodge bros had power in the years before the polio vaccine field trials. Would the money saved by closing those lines of research be favorably compared to the ongoing cost of polio? Or would the mindless cuts seem absolutely stupid? This administration is dismantling the very system that protects our health and safety. From clean air, to safe water, to reproductive health, to dealing with our mental health and substance use crises that are currently happening right now. You cannot lie about the natural world and expect it to be true. Remember what Trump said during the COVID pandemic, and I'm going to quote this: "If we stop testing now, we will have very few cases, if any." That's not how it works, sir. Disease carries on, suffering happens, death will still occur. These decisions will have local effects, rescinding research for our universities, and cutting funding to states that will directly affect our local communities. The Trump administrations in the last few weeks unilaterally clawed back COVID-19 funds. Congress allocated that money. Some of those funds were to bolster noted deficiencies in our public health infrastructure, so we were better prepared for future health threats. Luckily, a judge has stopped this, at least for now. But where is Congress? Where is our Montana delegation? Each of these representatives took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. We expect more from you. Disease prevention and research are not the only risk, however. How about healthcare? First, if we don't prevent disease, we can count on needing more treatment, which will strain our healthcare system and increase cost. Plus, a lot of our medical equipment, medications, and supplies actually come from overseas. Will tariffs lead to healthcare-associated scarcities and further rising costs? This administration talks about freedom while taking our freedoms away. They talk about transparency while making indiscriminate budget cuts behind closed doors without intelligent rationale. They talk about building the economy while we watch the stock market fall, recession fears increase, and the cost of everyday necessities going up. George Orwell called this doublespeak. I want to end my comments with a plea to you all. And as I said in the beginning, I'm feeling emotional these days. Some days I just want to fight like hell, and other days I just want to crawl back into bed. One thing we cannot let happen is to lose our humanity. Today, more than ever, we need compassion and grace for one another. We all have different experiences, regardless of our gender, our sexual orientation, our religion, our race, our political affiliation, or our ethnicity. Don't let our differences divide us. Let's not waste our strength fighting over who has it worse, or whether you saw this coming on election day or you're just now awakening to this new reality. Instead, let's continue to allow our diversity and our concern for one another to be our strength. This is no time to hide in a bubble. It's time to make new friends, engage with our fellow community members. In these challenging times, let's reach out a hand and lift one another up. Thank you so much.
There's a lot of things to choose on from his speech, but how about hands off our health? Hands off our health! 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 I still feel like you guys are kind of angry out there. Human rights don't just belong to U.S. citizens, or just to men, or just to white people, or just to straight people. Human rights belong to all people. No exceptions. We are at a crossroads in this country. We must either choose to stand united for us all or allow our democracy to fail. Here to discuss how this moment in time is impacting her community is Phoebe Howell. A software engineer, queer activist, organizer, and accidental part-time lobbyist. She has also been a driving force in the success of Helena's own Waking Giant. I honestly have no idea when she sleeps. Please welcome Phoebe Howell.
Better raise that up. Give her a chair.
Good afternoon. I'll start by saying this. Queer people are everywhere. Over 9% of Americans identify as LGBTQ, and that rises to over 20% in Gen Z adults, according to a recent Gallup poll. Queer people are everywhere in our communities. Queer people are everywhere, and our society cannot ignore it anymore. But yet, as a trans woman, the present situation often makes me feel mute. The voices of hate, the myths, and mischaracterizations are loud, and they seem to be everywhere. The media loves it. Reactionary politicians love it. They've been gorging themselves on misinformation, manufactured drama, and fascist apologies about trans people since long before this administration. We watch a stream of executive orders, bureaucratic changes, national and state policies designed only to make trans and queer people's lives worse steadily go into place. We watch as, despite a few tepid assurances, legal experts tell us that if trans people leave, we may not be able to re-enter the country. We watch as other countries mark the United States as do not travel for trans people, and international pride organizations cancel events in the US for safety reasons. We watch as productive, well-qualified queer people are systematically removed from government positions. We watch as they sloppily scrub any mention of trans people from government websites, erasing research, erasing important health resources, and erasing history. We watch as organizations fold in fear. We watch as even this very legislature introduces over 30 bills targeting queer people this session. Things like asking the US Supreme Court to overturn same-sex marriage. And all the while, it feels like fewer and fewer people with a voice seem to know or care to say anything against many of the things happening. Certainly not most politicians who seem to think that it looks good to allow fascism to happen. What is all of this? How do I even begin to say no loud enough? It feels like in my head I'm constantly screaming, why is everything you say a lie? No, we're not new. Stop trying to erase queer history, struggles, and calls for justice. No, we're not grooming and sex offenders. No, we're not degrading society. We're just people. We never asked for all this. Leave our lives alone. This sort of chaos and oppression, silencing a group of people by being louder and more powerful, it's the same thing happening to immigrants, to veterans and federal workers, to scientists and researchers, and to anybody vulnerable or marginalized enough they feel they can get to. Many of us, queer or not, are trying to figure out how to be loud enough and powerful enough to make things better, figuring out how to support each other and keep our communities alive. My answer is we don't fight alone. We fight together in solidarity against all types of oppression. We fight for our neighbors. The fight for queer rights is the fight against fascism. Lastly, I want to leave you with a reminder from queer history of what even a small, dedicated community can do. In the 80s and 90s, during the AIDS crisis, getting infected with HIV was a death sentence. Conservative politicians said that queer people's suffering and death from AIDS was God's punishment for immorality, and other politicians looked away, believing it ruinous to their careers,
to do anything. Tens of thousands of gay and trans people died during this time. Over the course of this mass community illness and death, during which GOP presidents chose to favor genocidal beliefs of religious zealots over the urging of doctors and scientists, ACT UP formed with a few thousand members. They applied a diverse range of tactics, combining direct action and media pressure to use as leverage on politicians and institutions. Their activism led to the development of several new antiretroviral drugs that keep people with HIV alive, making these drugs more affordable, forcing hospitals to treat more AIDS patients, dispelling misinformation and stigma against people with HIV, successfully lobbying for legal protection against AIDS discrimination, and creating better ethical standards in clinical trials, which are still used in the medical community. It is estimated that ACT UP activism has saved the lives of 23 million people globally. This is just scratching the surface of what's possible when we strategize and fight relentlessly against greed, cruelty, and death. ACT UP! Fight back!
Thank you, Phoebe. On a refrigerator at a friend's house is a magnet that says, "The problems of today are not going to be solved by the same minds that created them." I think about that a lot. We cannot expect to approach this crisis with the same battle-worn tools we've been using for the last 50 years. New ideas, new strategies, new voices are needed. We need to listen to each other, give each other the grace to grow and change, allow new voices to have a platform, and bridge generations in order to find common ground on which to build a better world. I heard one of those new voices a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so glad she agreed to talk to us about outreach to young voters. Stella Duran is a high school student in East Helena. She worked as a page for the legislature in 2023 and 2025, sponsored by Helena Valley's own Mary Ann Dunwell. Stella has an unquenchable thirst for all things politics, and we would be lucky to have her working for us in the future. Please welcome Stella Duran.
Can you all hear me okay? All right, perfect. So I gotta be honest with you guys, when I started thinking about what I might say to you today, I was at a complete and utter loss. And I know that every speech starts off that way, don't get me wrong, but I'm being so serious. Like my notes app, my Google Docs is chock full of all of these rough drafts of what I might tell you. And it just felt really odd, and I was running around this 4-H event, and I'm asking all my advisors, I'm asking all my friends for help, for some clarity on just what could I possibly share with these people that they don't already know? And that's so not me, because I've always had quite a bit to say before. And that's kind of when I realized that I was falling into the same pattern that I was coming up here to tell you guys is absolutely awful. And it's a pattern that I hadn't before faced. So the pattern goes like this. A lot of youth will find an interest and they try to be more involved and they do the right things, and then when it comes to getting up here, or it comes to meeting with their representatives, they chicken out, and they don't know what to do, and they fall in line. And that's really, really bad, because then it gets worse. And there's no longer a podium for them to come and speak. And there's no longer somebody who's going to drive them to the Capitol to take them to meet their representatives. And all of a sudden, all of these resources are gone. So I've spent a lot of my time trying to combat this mindset, trying to get it out there that you guys should all listen to me and that I should feel okay to speak up. Contradictory to that, I was so scared to come up here because I was really afraid that I would sound dumb and ignorant when I said that I really, really care about public schools. And I was afraid that I would sound dumb when I say that those schools have served me my entire life, and I don't want to watch the system that raised me crumble in front of my eyes. And I was really, really scared that I would sound stupid when I said that I want to grow up and be able to buy a house and pay off my student debt. But more than anything, I was afraid that I would sound like a dumb little kid when I told you guys that I'm the future. That myself, that my friends, that my siblings are the ones who will one day be your doctors, who will one day be your servers, who will be your representatives, senators, and even your president. However, my earlier thought process was not true at all, because these are opinions that are held close to many. These are opinions that are held close by all of you who showed up today, so thank you so much for coming. And these opinions are valid, not because I've done every bit of research I possibly could, and not because I have all of the information, but because it's my experiences and my life shaping them. So I have a question for all of you. Do you guys think that it's valid that I'm up here to speak today? Which brings me to my next point. If all of you guys who are a primarily adult audience can agree that somebody who's just a kid deserves a shot at the opportunity to speak up, why can't those who are supposed to be my leaders? Why don't they show up to the town halls where I could learn from them and further my passion? Why don't they put out every bit of information on paging, testifying, meeting, and organizing in every school in Montana? And why don't they prioritize their own time to meet with FFA students, 4-H members, Girl Scouts, LGBTQ youth groups, student councils, and more? And lastly, why don't they believe that their treatment of me, of these youngins, has an impact on America 20 years from now? It's not that our leaders don't know that I'm speaking the truth right now. It's that an ignorant population is far easier to please than an adequately prepared one. And even more than that, the future America I just mentioned 20 years from now isn't up to them to fix. It's up to me. So if you take one thing from me today, let it be this. Our youth are our future. We need to be seen, we need to be heard, and we need to be informed always. We know the meaning of public service, and while many aren't in office to serve anymore, we will be. We will clean the mess, we will listen, we will learn, and we will communicate, because that's what leaders do. We'll just have to wait for our turn. Thank you all so much. I can't wait to see the future of us, but I leave you all with a challenge to all of my leaders and all of you who may know a leader, who may be one yourself, to not wait for us to reach out, but to do it yourself. Come to our schools and talk about the world that desperately needs fresh ideas and minds. Talk about your own experience and help to ignite passion in our young people. And lastly, be open to ideas of all sorts and be open to a brighter and more hopeful future. Thank you so much.
tell you. How about for her, hands off our future? Hands off our future! 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 Thank you. 89% of Montana counties are more reliant on veterans benefits as a percentage of income than the national average. Native Americans serve in the military at rates 5 times the national average. This means Montana and its tribal nations will be impacted by cuts in veterans services and health care at a higher rate than most of the country. Veterans benefits are a contract with its military personnel and their families. To speak about the impacts this chaos is having on Montana veterans is Dennis Taylor. He is a retired city manager, a longtime Montana state government administrator, former deputy director of the Montana Department of Justice, and chief of staff for Attorney General Joe Mazurek. He's also a former high school board member, a Vista volunteer with Montana State Low Income Organization, and a decorated Vietnam Marine Corps infantry combat veteran. Please welcome Dennis Taylor.
We're gathered here today because we care deeply about our democracy, our country, our state, and our community.
It feels uncomfortable. You gotta put your mouth really close.
If you're a veteran here today, please raise your hand. Thank you for your service and welcome home. My grandpa served in World War I. My dad fought with the Army Air Corps, flying B-24s in the South Pacific during World War II, earning a Silver Star during the Battle of the Bismarck Sea. He went on to serve 24 years in the United States Air Force. I grew up as an Air Force brat. I served 6 years in the United States Marine Corps. I was an infantry platoon commander in Vietnam, where I was touched by fire and cited for valor. My son-in-law served 20 years in the Army Special Forces and was deployed 11 times in combat zones in several countries, including Iraq, Afghanistan, and Sudan. My family is proud of their military service. Military service is a family tradition spanning generations. No bone spurs in our family. President 5 deferments denigrates veterans, calls us suckers and losers. He mocks Gold Star families. He belittles Medal of Honor recipients. He disparaged Senator McCain, a Vietnam POW who endured 7 years of captivity at the Hanoi Hilton. Last Thursday, President Trump skipped the dignified transfer of 4 fallen soldiers. Four fallen soldiers who were killed in Lithuania, so he could go to one of his many golf courses to party with his Saudi friends. We know that Trump comes from a long line of draft dodgers. His great-grandfather dodged conscription in Germany during World War I. His grandfather did not serve. Neither did his father, nor any of his children. For the last 4 generations, no one in Trump's extended family has ever served in the military. So it's no wonder that he continually to screw over veterans. Look, we know Montana's a big state. Veteran services in Montana are already too few and too far and in between. Currently, I go to the VA. My son-in-law goes to the VA. Many of us do. I go to VA. Outstanding. So, I want to say, for those who are thinking about it, Montana has a great VA healthcare system. But long drives from our rural communities make accessing services difficult and costly. Montana is home to one of the largest numbers of veterans in the nation. There are over 110,000 veterans in Montana. That's the most veterans per capita than any state in our country. We make up 13% of our state's population. But sadly, 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Think about this, more than 1 out of every 5 suicides in Montana is a veteran. VA clinicians, researchers have worked tirelessly to implement evidence-based suicide prevention programs, to expand mental health services, and to improve outreach to at-risk veterans. Now those services are in jeopardy. Without those services, suicides will climb. Trump, as you know, is taking a wrecking ball to the VA. He plans to cut more than 80,000 VA employees, which includes at least 20,000 veterans. Veterans make up 25% of VA's workforce. He wants to dismantle the VA, privatize veterans' health care, and we have to stop him. We must protect veterans, military spouses, VA employees in Montana and nationwide who have been indiscriminately targeted by Dodge cuts to the VA and to our federal government. The VA is under assault daily, spreading chaos, dismantling DEI initiatives, forcing impossible working conditions on career civil servants. They're making it harder and harder for good people to stay. As Trump and his Republican toadies in Congress continue to slash the federal government, that burden only grows on veterans, who make up 30% of the federal workforce. There's about 640,000 veterans working in federal agencies right now.
Right, and I'm one of them.
Thank you. So think about it. These cuts target not only the service that veterans rely on, but the very jobs that have helped so many veterans find stability and purpose and rebuild our lives after facing the traumas of war and military service.
True. That is true.
Trump and Musk, his unelected co-president, are pursuing a coordinated, unconstitutional effort to gut the federal government from within, to destabilize public institutions, to drive out the very people who keep our democracy functioning. So, veterans are angry. Actually, we're pissed off, and we say enough. We stand here today as part of a national mass activation in defiance of the Trump-Musk takeover of our democracy. Thank you for coming. The lawlessness, the cruelty, and the corruption has gone too far. We must unite to fight the assault on our democracy, our fundamental freedoms in our communities. We are angry about the destruction of our rights, of our jobs, of our community safety net, of the shredding of our national safety apparatus. We don't have kings in America. We won't let Mad King Donald and his handful of billionaires run the country into the ground. No. We must defeat the oligarchy. We must reject their self-serving agenda at the ballot box and in the streets. Know this, Trump and Musk are getting weaker and we are getting stronger. So we must continue to stand up and fight back. Together, we can build a movement that saves our democracy, saves our country, and saves our communities. Thank you so much.
I love that we're all on the same page. That's awesome. Over 156,000 Montanans receive Social Security. Almost 1/3 of seniors say Social Security is their entire income. Yet this administration is attacking Social Security, risking poverty and homelessness for seniors and people with disabilities. You guys really do seem really kind of angry. It's weird. Terry Minow has come to speak about Social Security and organizing against these attacks on the bedrock of our country. She is the chair of Big Sky 55, an organization of older Montanans. No wonder I can't read this because I don't have the right glasses on. Sorry about that. An organization of older Montanans working to find solutions that benefit Montanans of all ages. She grew up on a ranch south of Miles City and taught Head Start in Missoula. She is the political director of the Montana Federation of Public Employees when it was known as MEA-MFT. She is a founding member of the Big Sky 55 Plus Board of Directors. She's a fourth-generation rancher, now in the Boulder Valley with her family. Please welcome Terry Minow.
Good afternoon. I'm going to speak as loud as I can. I hear it's hard to hear in the back, so I'm going to talk as loud as I can. Good afternoon. It is so great to see your beautiful faces. What a fantastic day to gather together to celebrate our democracy and speak truth to power in solidarity. Thank you. Thank you for being here to say hands off to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and the Republican majority in Congress. I'm Terry Minow, board chair of Big Sky 55 Plus. We organize Montanans of all ages to work together for the common good, and every single one of you is invited, no matter what your age. So please join us. And I'm here to say hands off Social Security. The Social Security Act was passed in 1935 to protect Americans from poverty in old age and in times of disability. Social Security provides financial assistance through retirement benefits, disability insurance, and survivor benefits. It is the most successful social services program in history, succeeding at lifting millions of Americans out of poverty and allowing working people to live out our lives in dignity. Thank you, Social Security. Despite Social Security's overwhelming success, Trump, Musk, and the Republican majority in Congress are trying to destroy it. They are trying to steal our money, money we pay into the system all our working lives. Thieves. For 90 years, Social Security has never missed a single payment. With every paycheck, we pay into the system based on the promise that Social Security will be there when we need it. But now, due to Trump and Musk, we fear that promise may not be met.
It is not a Ponzi scheme!
That's right. Musk, Trump, and the Republican Congress know better than to try to steal our money head on. They know that Social Security is overwhelmingly popular with Republicans, Democrats, Independents, all Americans. So instead of attacking Social Security directly, they are attacking the already underfunded delivery system. They have announced office closures, cutting 7,000 Social Security employees, and making it much more difficult to sign up. People are already on hold for hours when they try to call Social Security. All of this is designed to crash Social Security so that Trump, Musk, and the Republican Congress can claim it doesn't work. But why? Why are they doing this? Greed. It's greed, plain and simple greed. Trump, Musk, and their billionaire buddies want to get their greedy little hands on our money. $2.7 trillion of it. They want to break the system. That's our money, money we set aside all our working lives to provide Social Security for retirement, for people with disabilities, for orphans, for God's sake. We are not going to let that happen. We are going to stop them. We are going to stop them because hundreds of thousands of us are standing together all across this country and in this state and all across America. Being here is a very powerful statement, and I thank you for being here. Let Congress know you are here supporting Social Security. Go to our website, Big Sky 55 Plus. Tell our members of Congress, it's easy, just click on the tab. Tell your members of Congress to stand up, to find the courage to stand up for us. Big Sky 55 Plus is proud to stand with all of you to say hands off. Hands off! 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 Hands off our families. Hands off our democracy. Hands off Social Security. And now let's say that together. Hands off Social Security. Hands off Social Security. Hands off Social Security. Thank you. Woo!
Put the right glasses on this time. Thank you to all our speakers. Steve Held, a rancher in eastern Montana, wanted to be here today, but he just landed in Kenya, Africa, where he's visiting his daughter, Ricky Held, of Held v. Montana, the first successful constitutional climate lawsuit ever. Steve wanted me to wear a hat while doing this, but I figured that'd be all hat, no cattle, so we're not going to do that. But Steve says, woohoo, hometown Helena Interfaith, Helena Indivisible, and Sleeping Giant, and all of my dear friends. We love you, Helena, home of impartial courts, independent thinkers, for freedom, privacy, and the last best place. There is no way to cover every topic that deserves attention. Sometimes finding a speaker is difficult. I don't think we're going to have that problem here today. This week is spring break for schools, for instance. Please know that we are not trying to prioritize one issue or group over another. As we stand under the flag of the nations and our state, we want to recognize that it will be the stories of people just like you that will change the hearts and minds of people around us. We would like to invite you up to speak during the open mic session. Whether you want to share your life or how your life or family has been impacted by this administration, or if you found a particularly good way to discuss hot button issues with your family or neighbors, or you want to talk about your experience engaging with the legislature or your congressionals, please come up and speak to whatever you have found helpful in these times. We only ask that you keep your comments short and sweet and under 2 minutes, and speak from the heart and your own experience, so that others will have a chance as well. Think on that and come get in line over here. I think we have a couple of people that are willing to start us off.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me out and back. My name is Gail Joslin, and I was a wildlife biologist with Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks for the state for more than 32 years. And along with hundreds of other state and federal wildlife biologists that worked across national forests, BLM, state lands, we were all advocating for wildlife habitat. So, it would be a gut punch from the Trump administration to give away, to sell our federal lands because public lands largely define who we are as Montanans, and our response is hands off. Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Our collective deep history goes back to the Declaration of Independence, when we declared ourselves the sovereign and we split from the King of England. We are not going back to being ruled by anybody. We are a democracy, and as such, we will not bend to any king or dictator and let them sell our precious public lands and sacrifice the wildlife that depend on them. Plans to give billionaires ever greater tax breaks then claim we need to balance the United States budget by selling off our public lands would be an economic joke, if it weren't so serious. Because just last week, in this building, this Capitol building behind me, people were saying these words. Some said that these lands are a waste. They said these lands are not being used, that they are costing us money. Well, besides providing all of us a huge level of peace and sanity, these lands are providing clean water from unroaded country that is released into trout streams and municipal water supplies. These lands are sustaining herds of elk, hundreds of bighorn sheep, thousands of deer, millions of birds, and a few very rare critters like lynx and wolverines. And these public lands contribute PILT money, which is payment in lieu of taxes, of more than $500 million every year to the U.S. economy, helping to fund vital services. And do you know that Montana's public lands alone provide more than $43 million per year, every single year, to our state? And that number is growing. Disposing of these lands to put even more money into the pockets of oligarchs like Bezos, Zuckerberg, Musk, and Trump is not acceptable. And multimillionaire carpetbaggers who have invaded Montana and taken over our state need to experience pushback and hear us remind them to keep their hands off our public lands. So, keep their hands off our public lands. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Belén Morales, and I am a U.S. citizen. I came as an immigrant when I was 20 years old. I am 66 and a very proud American. I also want to say my 2 daughters are born here. I have 5 grandkids who I adore, and this is the reason why I'm here, because I want them to grow up and be able to pay into Social Security and collect. I would like them to be able to serve for this country and not be ignored as a veteran. I want them to be respected and appreciated. And most of all, I want them, if they grow up, to continue saying how great is this country, because when I moved here was the greatest country in the world, and we're gonna keep it that way. God bless the USA.
Love that. Real quickly, wanted to give a shout out to Waking Giants Food Drive. Make sure if you brought anything that you drop it there. Otherwise, make sure to hit up Food Share and get donations there.
Good afternoon, Big Sky. I'm Sandy Messenger, and I'm standing here because I had 43 years of federal public service. And I'm angry to see the attacks on our public servants in the federal government. I have worked with so many wonderful people dedicated to the mission of 4 different federal agencies. And it's disheartening to see how they are being treated off and on, like a toy that you put on a shelf and take it off. We have civil service protection that needs to be followed through the laws. Yeah. And when you work for the federal government, it doesn't matter what political affiliation you have. The attack on civil servants right now to be loyal to a particular person instead of the Constitution that we swore an oath to is an abomination, and it needs to stop. So I say, hands off our public servants. Hands off our public servants. Hands off our public servants. And God bless America.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ron Waterman. I write an article in the paper from time to time, and these are trying times. I just want to spend a couple minutes with you talking about an idea. Read the Constitution, because it starts with empowerment of the people. We the people. And that's what we want to tell people. We the people have the power. We the people are organized, and we need to continue to organize. I've got a lot of words to share with you, but I'm going to just simply keep it simple. When I write to our congressional delegation, which I do every day, I tell them 3 simple phrases: stand up, speak out, or slink away.
Hi, I'm David Smyrna. I'm not an orator. I totally agree with the previous speaker. The reason I am here today is to tell you of my experience and why I am here today. I am 68 years old. I'm a physician, partially retired. I have a 69-year-old schizophrenic brother on public housing in New York who all of his adult life has been on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and he is afraid that he is going to lose his housing. When I have contacted Steve Daines' office, Ryan Zinke's office, and Mr. Sheehy's office, I have either gotten no response or once I got a hold of a staffer who tried to convince me I had nothing to worry about. I am imagining that about everyone else here has something of the same experience, and you're not alone.
So, folks, you are here on the steps of the Montana's People's House. So I am challenging you all to become involved in the last month of the legislature. This is where your voice can be heard. You can look it up on Montana Legislature 2025, find the bills that you want to testify on, and get up here and let them hear us. We need people from Montana telling these elected officials what they should be doing. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gil Poelsma, and before I start talking on things on my heart, I just want to help out a person here. They lost their phone, so if you found a phone, please bring it up to the front and we will reunite that. Okay. As I said, my name's Gil Poelsma. I'm a first-generation immigrant. I've lived here for 15 years. Most of my adult professional life, I have spent working in libraries. First in our wonderful, wonderful public library here in town, the Lewis and Clark Library, one of the most magical places on the planet. And then, currently, I'm at the Montana State Library. There are many, many, many causes I care about, and I'm so heartened to be here. I deal with a lot of despair with our current situation, but this sort of stuff, seeing all of you wonderful, brave, incredible people, fills my cup. Thank you for being here. I just want to say, libraries are one of the most incredible institutions that anyone's ever come up with. They are consistently under attack by nice words, by awful people, corrupt people, fascists, that's the word, thank you very much. Hands off! Hands off. And I just want to say, since libraries are so important, such an important cornerstone of information, democracy, peace, safety, comfort, please support your local libraries. Visit them, make use of their resources, say nice things to the wonderful people that work there. And I think one of the most important things is sign up to be on their boards, become a trustee. We need great people on those boards. Have a great day, everyone.
If it's your lost phone, come find me in my Don't Tread on Me flag.
Hello, everyone. I want you to all scream if you live on planet Earth. A reminder before I start speaking that Antifa stands for anti-fascist. Our planet is our #1 shared resource and our #1 issue as a human race. Everyone needs to be aware of all of the different climate struggles and the climate crisis that we are ongoing, living through as a community, as a shared community.
Yes.
Last year was the hottest year on record, and the year before that was the hottest year on record. We are running out of resources. We are running out of air to breathe, water to drink. It can feel very dismal to confront these realities in your daily life. One thing you can do to stay empowered, the number one personal action that you can take in order to reduce your climate impact is limit the amount of meat that you eat. If you can, limit how much you drive. If you can, limit how much you spend. Do not support corporations that are polluting our planet with plastics. We all just need to remember that we share a planet. Thank you so much.
I'm up here to talk about something I haven't heard yet, which is that we should be abolishing ICE. ICE is coming on to our reservations. The United States, indigenous people, they have seen ICE on the reservations. ICE is arresting legal U.S. citizens, and not only that, we should also be worried about them arresting illegal citizens because they're sending them to detention centers in El Salvador. They're violating human rights, and we need to be paying attention. We need to watch and abolish ICE. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Parker Gursky Abbott. I'm 8 years old. And I think kids should be able to help.
What else do you want to say?
Kids should literally, they really want to help. So I think we should let them do that.
Hello, my name is Gwen. I am a 6th grader here in Helena, and I would like to talk about how it is really devastating and really sad how a lot of my peers, my like 10 and 11 and 12-year-old peers, like little kids, to you guys at least, you're all adults, you know, are being so heavily influenced by the evil administration that is currently running our country. So I don't really have a lot to say, but there's a lot of anger in me right now, and I just feel really upset about that. So my question for you is, are you guys willing to teach your kids, to let them know about the politics and what's going on and how bad these things are, and teach them about how much peace and human rights matter? All right, that's all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tim Holmes. I'm a figurative sculptor. I have always been sculpting people's bodies all my life, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the female body, which is not only the most beautiful thing in all of creation, but is a deeply symbolic image for us. And as my show and tell, I brought along my beautiful, nearly naked wife with her, who's been painted with some slogans, including "The feminine trumps patriarchy." I just want us to think about, for a minute, the symbolism of the female body, which symbolizes so many things that have been neglected by our culture for hundreds of years. Things like respect for beauty, and kindness, and nurture, and the list goes on and on and on. But perhaps one of the things that's most important for us to keep in mind is it symbolizes respect for relationship over materialism. And in our time, the political winds are moving in such a way that women's health in particular is really at risk. And so we all need to stand up for the women in our midst and keep in mind that the symbol of the woman's body has all those things wrapped up in it. It is deeply embedded in our flesh, and I think it behooves us to remember that that is one of the most precious things about human life today. So, hands off our women.
I'm Sandy Oitzinger, and I want to say hands off Montana Humanities. Montana Humanities is our statewide voice. Hands off. And I also want to say that the gray hairs that are here who got involved in politics to put Montana first, and Donald Trump and his thugs are putting Montana last.
My name is Sarah. I am almost 20 years old, and within the past several years alone, there have been countless attacks on women's reproductive rights and freedoms. As we all know, not just in Montana, but nationwide. I am fearful not just for the existing generations, but for the generations to come. And I just want every woman to know here that you are loved, you are seen, and we will continue to fight and stand together because this is a battle that they will not win. Hands off our bodies.
I'm going to ask you all to forgive my quiet voice and puffy face. I'm still recovering from a broken jaw. I've heard a couple speakers and spoken to a few of you in the crowd while I was passing out flyers with phone numbers for our reps. And I understand that there's a prevailing sentiment that phone calls or reaching out to politicians who do not represent our values doesn't work. And I will not lie to you, we have no chance of changing their minds. But what we do have is the chance to scare them. AOC has repeatedly said, as have many leading progressive voices in this country, that phone calls, and this is a quote, phone calls are one of the biggest ways that members of Congress measure not just numbers, but also enthusiasm. A Senate memo that has been circulating since Trump came into the office has stated, the Senate is experiencing an unusually high number of inbound calls. External callers may receive a temporary busy signal because phones in the office of the Senate are being overwhelmed. Translation, we're breaking the phone banks. And that unusually high number is 1,300% of normal call volume. This, as many Democratic politicians have experienced firsthand from MAGA voters who say vile things to them, is incredibly psychologically damaging. It's easy to sow doubts and aim to be more moderate and maybe listen more to Republican or specifically MAGA ideals. We need to use those same strategies. If it works, we gotta adopt it. I often hear, but I only get staffers, I only leave messages, I don't see it working. But what we're not seeing is behind the scenes when a senator's office or a representative's office is trying to make a snap decision about a policy, which is hard to walk back politically, they gauge what voters are saying in the phone banks. They need your vote and others' votes to get elected. And if most of what they're hearing is we hate what they're doing, they know their political careers will be short. You can make a difference with a phone call, so make the phone call.
I just wanted to say that the Department of Education was the great equalizer. It was designed to help the poorest communities in the poorest states that tested the worst consistently, and this is only going to hurt the poorest in this nation and the poorest children. The children are the future, and the closure of the Department of Education is only going to hurt our future for many, many, many years to come. Absolutely stupid. So I just wanted to say that in public schools, I learned that Arbeit macht frei was posted at the gates of Auschwitz. It means work makes you free.
I'm a little short, so this is hard to reach. My name is Aaron, and I am a student, and I am scared. I am scared about the ridiculous decision to defund the Department of Education. I am scared for the people at school that sometimes rely on it for their only meal of the day. I'm scared of the quality of education with the loss in funding. I'm scared for my friends in the LGBTQ+ community who are in danger of losing their rights. I'm scared that myself and others in this generation will never be able to afford a house or a safe place to live. I'm scared we may lose access to public lands and our national parks. Our climate, our planet Earth, the climate crisis is not getting the attention it deserves. There are so many issues. Yes, there are so many issues that are not getting the attention they deserve, and I'm terrified. So that's why I'm here. For a call to action for all of this, for any of you to do anything to help these issues. I know so many of you are doing amazing things, and it is so inspiring to see so many people here today. So thank you for your time, and this incredible. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian Bolstad, and I just wanted to make known that for like 33 years of my life, didn't pay much attention to politics. I don't know how old you think I am right now, but you can do that to yourself, figure it out. One thing I am noticing is once I tried to look into politics and get into it and understand everything, it is massive. There's a lot of research involved and there's a lot to understand. So the only thing I wanted to say after a year of doing politics actively, trying to understand it, trying to figure out what makes me angry, go talk to people, community. That's been the best thing I've seen so far. There's too much information online. So if you're gonna do online research, get ready for hours upon hours of just doing the research. But look into it. Look into the numbers, look into the words. They really do help. I've gained a lot more understanding. Can't wait to gain more. Wish I would have started a couple, decades ago, probably. But I hope there's other people like that, like me, who have no idea what you're all saying. And I think that's an okay thing because we need to get into it. So there's my...
Hey everyone, my name's Eric. I'm from East Helena. Look folks, my sign says, restore the rule of law. Without the rule of law, we have nothing. This administration has already usurped the power of the legislature by taking the power of the purse and refusing to enact and execute the laws passed duly by this country. He's already denied judges' orders to carry out his cruel agenda and deport people against judges' orders, and now we'll see if they'll bring back one of them that might be lucky enough to have gotten enough attention to get out of the gulag that they sent him to. In short, restore the rule of law and drink more water, because if we don't have laws, you're gonna need to stay hydrated. Thank you.
Hello. I am shaking right now, so ignore that. My name is Magpie, and although I know we don't have very many people left, I hope a lot of people see this because I've been really wanting to get this out. I am from a very small community called the Therian community, and basically what this community is a group of people who non-physically identify as animals. So we know we're human and we can't choose to. It's just kind of a connection we have. And with Trump in office, I know he's against queer people, and I know he's against them, and that must mean he's going to be against these smaller communities too. You may have heard of furries, that community. I'm sure he's going to be against that, and it's really unfair because I know Therians and furries, they get a massive amount of hate. Every day we're scared to go outside with our masks, with our tails, because we're afraid to be barked at, and sometimes we're even afraid to be shot. And with Trump in office, I feel like the problems are just gonna get worse. So if there are any Therians here, I see you, and I know what you're going through, and I'm scared. I'm scared too. Thank you.
My name is Judy Grabens from Helena. I am second generation American. My grandparents came from Sweden and Finland. I'm proud of that. I am a senior citizen. I am on Social Security, Medicare. My husband has health problems. They take it away, we're dead. I am a mother of 3. One of them has a disability. My middle son is deaf. If not for special education, he wouldn't be the person he is today. He's an over-the-road trucker. He's a tax-paying citizen. Special education. I am a grandmother of 8. 5 are girls. I'm worried about their future. I'm worried about their rights. I am a great-grandmother of 14. Some are biracial. I'm worried for them. I'm here for them. Please keep fighting, because I am. I did it in the past. I'll keep on doing it again. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joanne. I'm going to keep this really short and sweet because we're running out of time. Gianforte just announced that he wants to build a bigger prison. We do not need more prisons. We need more mental health care. Mental illness is not a crime. We need health care for our disabled. We need acknowledgement for those who are mentally challenged. You may not identify with them when they're walking on the street, but they need our support. Please support the mentally ill and stop our prison buildings. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie. In the 80s, I was a little school kid in American schools, and I remember really vividly learning about the greenhouse effect. And I remember thinking to myself, thank God we figured this out so we can fix it, right? So I'm an idealistic little soul, and I still am, and I stand by that. I also remember learning about the foundations of democracy, and this is where I feel like I'm taking freaking crazy pills right now, right? Like, I learned when I was like this big that freedom of the press is essential to a functioning democracy. I learned that checks and balances are essential to a democracy. I learned that good, solid public education is essential to democracy. And so what the heck do we think we're doing, people? I'm so glad you're all here. We got to win this, and we're going to, all right? I'm going to turn it over.
All right, thank you to everyone who shared. We're going to wrap it up now. I just want to make something very clear before we leave. This rally is not taking place because someone in D.C. is pulling the strings. There's no one rich and powerful behind this. This protest is happening because 2 Montanans met in the freezing cold on President's Day at a protest that had no organizer. No. We traded phone numbers and organized the March for Liberty just 2 weeks later. 2 people who live in a different town pulled together to make something happen. We aren't anybody, but we're just like everybody. We made a decision to do something, did the work, asked for help, people volunteered, and we made something happen. Since that rally, other groups in Helena have coalesced and joined forces under the Indivisible umbrella. Their members added their vast experience, recommended some of our fabulous speakers, and extended the reach of this rally way beyond what we could have done on our own. Waking Giant, a group that formed in early February, was also invaluable in getting the message out, making signs, championing the food drive, providing security, and supporting this protest in every way. A special shout out to Shani for organizing all of the tables. That was amazing. By allying with these groups and organizations like those who have tables here today, and by supporting and amplifying each other's messages, we are all more impactful. This is the largest crowd yet, and it wouldn't have happened without everyone growing their organizations, reaching out to each other, and working together. Woo! Yeah! I tell this story not to say, look at what we've done, but to say, look at what you can do. Yes! Yeah. While some say we must speak with one voice, like fascists have their supporters trained to do, I say our greatest strength is our diversity of voices. Each one of you has a passion, a project, a personal stake that drives you to action. Don't be hindered by the old ways, or the talking heads, or the consultants, or even other activists that tell you that saving democracy has to happen in a certain way, and you have to do certain things. Do the things that motivate you to do something. Write letters to your congressionals. Go talk to them or their staffers, individually or as a group. Send trolling postcards to the president, maybe about his bone spurs or his tiny little hands. Send supporting postcards to Ukraine, Canada, Mexico. Send postcards to every person in Greenland. Support them remaining free from tyranny. Organize a street corner protest or a protest at a congressional office. Boycott corporations. Join a Tesla takedown when traveling. Run for office. Talk to your family and friends. Keep nudging them to the truth. Find ways to bring joy and have joy. Be happy. Being happy is its own form of resistance. Let your imagination run wild and put it into action. Whether you work on your own or as part of the many groups here today or around the state, just do something. Democracy won't be saved by the powerful and their money. Democracy will be saved by the people. By we, the people. We the people. We the people. So how about this? Hands off, we the people.
Hands off, we the people. Hands off, we the people. Hands off, we the people. Hands off, we the people.